Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. When you're first looking into fertility care, you're hit with what feels like an absolute mountain of clinical information, and honestly, it can be totally overwhelming. So today, we're going to transform all that complex medical jargon into a warm, supportive, and really clear guide for your personal fertility journey. We're focusing on a treatment you've probably heard mentioned a bunch of times: intrauterine insemination, or IUI. And specifically, we'll be looking at the world class care provided over at ART Fertility Clinics in the UAE. We're going to unpack the science, walk through the actual steps, and most importantly, talk about what this means for you as a patient. My goal here is simple: to empower you with the knowledge you need to make the absolute best decisions for your growing family. But before we get into all the science and the statistics, I just want to pause for a second and acknowledge the reality of this journey. Starting fertility treatments, it can feel incredibly daunting. There's a real emotional weight to fertility struggles, and that can be really heavy to carry around. It's a path that's just filled with unfamiliar medical terms, confusing statistics, and frankly, a whole lot of hoping and waiting. But if you take away just one thing today, let it be this: understanding your options is your absolute best first step. It takes all the power out of the unknown and puts it right back into your hands. And for so many couples, IUI acts as this really gentle, common, and highly accessible starting point before even thinking about moving on to more complex treatments. So let's start with the basics. What exactly is IUI? I mean, it's the fundamental question that pretty much everyone has when they first sit down with a specialist. It's a three-letter acronym you'll hear thrown around constantly in waiting rooms and on online forums, but we really need to know what's actually happening behind those clinical doors.
Okay, so intrauterine insemination, IUI, is simply a procedure where washed and prepared sperm are placed directly into the uterus, right during ovulation. Let's completely strip away the medical jargon for a second. Think of IUI as giving the sperm a highly targeted head start. You see, normally sperm have to make this really long, arduous marathon journey from the vagina through the cervix and all the way up into the uterus just to find the egg. IUI completely bypasses that initial marathon. By washing and preparing the sperm in the lab, doctors are basically separating the highly active, super healthy sperm from the sluggish ones and the surrounding fluid. Then they take this concentrated team of absolute best performers and place them right at the finish line exactly when the egg is ready. It's that simple.
Now, you might be wondering, who exactly is this Head Start for? Well, IUI is incredibly versatile. It's commonly recommended for couples dealing with mild male factor infertility, which really just means the sperm might need a tiny bit of extra help getting to where they need to go. It's also super common for unexplained infertility, when all the tests look perfectly fine, but pregnancy just hasn't happened yet. Also, if a woman has ovulation problems, mild endometriosis, or maybe cervical abnormalities that could act as a roadblock for the sperm, IUI simply bypasses all of that. Oh, and it's also a wonderfully practical solution for couples who experience difficulty with intercourse. I really want to highlight this list because it's so reassuring. It validates that there are a lot of very specific, completely normal reasons why natural conception might be delayed, and IUI is a fantastic tool designed to help with a wide variety of them. But there is a very important number we need to talk about, and it's this: 3. In the medical community, and specifically at top-tier centers like ART Fertility Clinics, the data tells a very clear story here. If a successful pregnancy doesn't occur after 3 insemination treatments, it is medically recommended to explore other fertility options. Now, please don't take this as discouraging. Actually, it's the exact opposite. It's about protecting your time, protecting your emotional energy, and of course, your resources. IUI is fantastic, but if it hasn't worked after 3 well-timed, scientifically supported attempts, it just simply means your medical team needs to pivot and look at more advanced tools to help you achieve your dream. All right, let's demystify the actual timeline. What does a cycle actually look like step by step? First up is ultrasound monitoring. Your doctor is going to track the growth of your follicles. Think of follicles like little biological houses in your ovaries where the eggs live and mature. Once those follicles reach the perfect size, we hit step 2, the HCG trigger shot. This is essentially a biological eviction notice. It's a hormone injection that tells your body, okay, the egg is mature, it is time to release it. Step 3 is a 36-hour wait. It takes roughly 36 hours from that shot for the egg to actually be released. And that perfectly lines us up for step 4, the insemination procedure itself. Exactly timed to that 36-hour mark, placing the prepared sperm right where they need to be. And here is one of the most reassuring facts straight from our medical sources: the procedure is totally painless. For anyone who might be dreading the idea of a painful medical intervention, please take a deep breath. The insemination itself is incredibly quick. It's very much like a standard pap smear, and it's performed right there in the clinic setting. No anesthesia, no hospital gowns. You can literally walk in, have the procedure, and go right back to your daily life. It's specifically designed to be as gentle on your body as possible. Now, we absolutely need to address a very common and honestly a very heavy fear that couples naturally have when they step into the world of assisted reproduction. Are IUI babies normal? It's a question that comes straight from a place of deep love and that fierce protective instinct you already have for your future child. And it deserves a very clear, very measured answer. The answer is a resounding, absolute yes. Babies born through IUI are just as healthy in every single way as those conceived naturally. Remember our analogy from earlier? IUI is simply a head start. It's literally just helping the sperm reach the egg a bit more easily. Once that sperm meets the egg, the actual magic of fertilization, the cell division, and the baby's amazing growth and development inside the womb, all of that happens completely naturally. Long-term health, development, genetics, they're totally unaffected by the fact that the sperm just got a little ride to the finish line. Once couples feel reassured about the safety of IUI, they almost immediately pivot to this next big question to help them weigh their options. So, is IUI better than IVF? It's a great question, but the truth is, better is entirely dependent on your own unique medical profile. Let's break down exactly how they compare so you can see the difference. Here's the core difference. IUI is your simpler, less invasive first step. It relies really heavily on your body's own natural processes, just with some expertly improved timing and placement. IVF, or in vitro fertilization, on the other hand, is the highly effective gold standard of fertility care. With IVF, the actual fertilization of the egg by the sperm happens outside the body, in an advanced embryology lab. This gives your medical team vastly greater control. It allows for things like genetic testing of the embryos and is absolutely the necessary path for more complex cases, like severe male factor infertility or blocked fallopian tubes. It's really important to look at the statistics so you can manage your expectations. A general IUI success rate hovers around 10 to 20% per cycle. And, that is a solid, completely realistic number for a less invasive procedure. But look at the contrast here. For those who need to move on to IVF or who start there because of their specific diagnosis, the success rates jump dramatically. At world-class centers like ART Fertility Clinics in the UAE, their IVF success rate reaches a staggering global high of 71%. This comparison is so crucial because it gives you a balanced perspective. It says, be realistic and patient if you choose IUI, but it also injects a massive amount of hope, showing you exactly how highly effective your backup plan truly is when you're at a leading clinic. And knowing you have access to that 71% success rate and world-class care makes a huge difference. For those of you in the region, ART Fertility Clinics has made this level of expertise incredibly accessible. They have dedicated locations in Abu Dhabi at Marina Village, in Dubai at Zukim 3, a dedicated center in Al Ain, and another right in Dubai Healthcare City. This means you can easily schedule a consultation with globally recognized experts, like Prof. Dr. Human Fatemi, without having to travel across the globe. The absolute best in reproductive medicine is literally right in your backyard. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final, proactive thought. We've walked through the science, the steps, the success rates, and the profound safety of IUI. You have the knowledge now. You understand the landscape. So looking at everything we've uncovered today, what will your first step toward growing your family be? Whether it's having a quiet conversation with your partner tonight, finally booking that initial consultation to get your personalized diagnosis, or simply taking a deep breath knowing you have incredible, scientifically proven options, the path forward is yours to take.